Okay. Over to you, Roy Lakshmi. I'm just making made as a presenter, and then I'm recording this session. We can start with the
Thanks.
agenda for today's topic. And then we can
Yeah, hi everyone. So today we are going to discuss about advanced chart. So in our training last week we discussed about the basic visualization. So we just created all the basic visualizations. So that time itself I told I will show up the advanced chart types in the follow-up sessions. So today we are going to see some kind of advanced charts that we can create in Tableau. So all these charts now I am going to create, it's somewhat related with your basic visualizations also. That is whatever basic visualizations you have already created. So you're going to use it. Maybe you're going to use that also to build your advanced charts. And some would be like a different form of a representation as well. So first chart we are going to see about this bullet graphs. So your bullet graphs are mainly useful when you want to compare your two measures. That is, if I have if I want to find, if I have a threshold limit and I want to find like how much like each customers, like how whether they have already attained that threshold. For example, if I'm having the sales and the average of sales. So how much customers have already crossed that particular average of sales and how much customer are yet to reach that goal. So it is used to compare your two measures over a single dimension. Mainly here you are comparing your one measure, that is your source measure, with your target measure. So I've connected to my sample superstore and the sample coffee chain through data blending method. So because I thought I will use this both. So what I'm going to do is, let me take the customer name and I'm going to take my sales value as well as the budget sales. So I've taken my sum of sales and budgeted sales, which I'm going to take as my two measure, that is my source measure and my target measure. Now I'm going to make it as my bullet graph. Okay, so this is my bullet graph. Here I have taken the customer names as well as the, I don't need the state field. Okay, so if you see here, I have taken the sales as well as the budget sales. So my sales would be my source measure and my budget sales would be my target measure. So what I am trying to convey with this graph is I am comparing the sales measure with my target measure. So I just want to find the customers who have already attained the target measure or who are yet to attain the target measure. So in between you are seeing some kind of the bars with the gray shade and a lighter gray shade. So this actually tells you like how much percent you are, if you have either attained 60% of your goal, else 80% of your goal. So this is your final goal. That is, this is nothing but just a reference line. So this bullet graph is a combination of your bar chart and you're also using your reference line. So if you see here, this is a reference line. So they have taken the average of the budget sales. So let me turn on the value also. So here, if you see here, for each customer, we have the budget sales. So I just want to find, so here no customers have attained the goals actually. If you see here, no customers have attained the goals. Everybody is yet to reach the goals. So this is a kind of a graph which helps you to compare two measures, that is your source measure and your target measure, and this gray line indicates how much percentage you have actually attained in order to reach your target measure.
What is that goal, man? So you told correct, all the customer is not reached the goal. So where we define that goal?
The goal is your second measure, that is your average budget sales, right? So we have used two measures here, the sum of sales
Correct.
and your budget sales. So your budget
Yeah.
sales is the goal here. So I want to find customers who have already crossed the budget sales and who are yet to cross the budget sales.
Okay. Okay.
So next we are going to see something called as control charts. So control charts are mainly helpful when you're going to compare something within a limits. That is, if you're going to define your so control charts or something like you're going to visualize particular measure or something over a time period. In that cases, you want something to define within a specified limit, that is maybe upper control limit or a lower control limit. So something you're going to analyze whether your particular the measure falls within that limits or it is exceeding, that is it's either going above your control limit or it is going below your control limit. A kind of statistical analysis. So let's see how to create a control chart. I'm just going to create a very simple control charts. So I just want to analyze my profit ratio over the week of, okay, week. So I'm just going to take my order rate and my profit ratio. And let me change both to a continuous case. Okay, here if you see, my sum of my profit ratio just goes from the positive, negative to the positive value. So we have a kind of a trend graph here. So this is your continuous line graphs which shows you the profit ratio by week. So in some weeks we have the negative profit ratio and same we have the positive ratios also. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a reference distribution brand. Let me take standard deviations. As I said, it's something based on your statistical analysis. So let me take my standard deviation is -3, 3. That is, my lower control limit would be starting from -3 to my upper control limit would be 3. Let me give it okay. So I've just added a reference distribution over my line graph, stating with standard deviation -3 to 3. If you see that almost everything is within my upper and lower control limit, only 1 week it has been going down my lower control limit. That is, I have set my lower control limit around -20% and it was around -38%. So your upper and lower control limit, which typically going to define whether your line grabs falls within your limits or it is going beyond your limits. Clear?
Yeah, clear. Ma'am.
So it's showing you the average of profit ratio
That is
for
typical.
every week which falls within your control limits and which is going nothing gone above the control limits. Only we have 1 week which gone below the control limits. So you can also try to create these control charts. So you can make this standard deviations dynamic. So you can make it dynamic, so you can choose different values like with -1 to 1 or 1 -2 to 2, like different standard deviations. You can create a parameter and then you can choose your upper and lower control limit. You can control it with your parameters. Here I've just used a reference lines.
Okay. For other people, is it my voice is clear? Audible?
Yes, Manu. Yeah.
So I want to just go to the control chart. I want to share some more information in control chart. Okay, so for example, if you see that the it's look like a bars is coming, right? So it's like ECG coding, right? So what it means is, in statistical way, if you want to calculate, or Six Sigma way, if you want to calculate, we'll calculate based on the number of points consecutively it is coming. For example, first one is biggest one. Second, maybe if you consider in the middle of certain numbers here, the first middle of is the little bit higher, in the 40%, and second is the 40%, less than 40%, and third one is 20%. So consequently, it is reducing, and then it is upper limit, it's going a lower limit as well as it is going, right. So how to read this? How to read this? What are the ways we have to read? And then when through this, what we can able to understand means, can you go to the Google chart and 7-point control chart? Can you just put the type in the Google chart? 7-point control charts. That will provide you more example. 7 points control chart. Okay, there is a control chart rules is there. Okay, you just go to the okay. So these are the control chart rules. There are 8 control chart rules. Okay, so 7 consecutive point trend up and down is called one single trend. Can you go to the control chart? For example, in the middle of after the certain 40%, if you see that 7 consecutive point is there, then that is one single trend. That is the right value you have to consider for your calculations. For example, here in the last, when it is ending the time, there is so many lower limits are coming, right? There is no upper limit is coming. If it is coming the more higher limit, 7 consecutive point, then the point you have to calculate from the first point to this consecutive 7 points. It is the one upper trend. 7 times it is keep on continuously coming lower down. then 7 times you have to count. If it is lower trend is coming, then the point is in the lower trend. Are you getting clear? If 7 times if it is repeat the same level of or different level of point, it is going on upper limit, only in upper limit. If you see on the middle, 7 times if it is going on the upper limit, then that point you have to say that's a trend, one calculation of trend. If it is coming 1, 2 times, 3 times, if it is coming below the upper limit and is going to lower limit, that does not mean that the trend is changing. Okay. If it is more than 7 times changing only, then the trend value is changing, your variables are changing. Till 7 point, the variable, even if it's coming lower or upper, whatever things is coming, the trend will not change. Clear on this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
So
Mani.
that's the rules of control charts. Okay, over to you, Rajlakshmi.
Okay. So next, I'm going to show you bump charts. So in bullet graph, we compared two measures over a dimension. So in bump chart, we are going to compare two dimensions. Sorry, in bullet graph, we compare two measures across a dimension. In this bump chart, I want to compare two dimension across a measure. I'm going to compare my one dimension with my another dimension against a measure. So these types of charts are useful when you want to compare two dimensions with respect to based on how these two dimensions are associated with the measure. This would be mostly useful when you are going for some kind of time series analysis. Let me tell you. Let me take this order date into the columns. So here I'm going to change it to month. So I've just taken month and sum of profit. Okay. So it shows me a line graph that how my sum of profits over the month of the order date. Now I want to compare one more dimension. That is how my sum of profits behaved over one more dimension. Let me take the region dimension and put it into the colors. So now I have this region dimensions. I want to compare my time period over a region based on sum of profit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to compare these values using a rank field. So I'm not going to create a rank using calculated method. I want to create my rank based on the table calculations. So let me click on the sum of profit, go to quick table calculation and choose rank. So if you see here, the ranks has been computed. So normally when we give the table calculations, your rank is going to compute using the method table across. But here my scenario is to compare my region versus my order date. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit table calculation. Instead of compute using the table across, let me go by specific dimension and choose region here and give it. So now could you read something with this chart? Hello?
Yes, sir. I can able to hear you.
Yeah, I'm just asking whether is someone able to read this particular chart, what it was actually displaying.
Okay, Gopi, Payasam, rank of each region per month.
Actually, it is a yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Dinesh.
It is a palm chart. It is showing actually.
Okay.
It is for all the 4 regions. It is coming as different colors.
Yes.
And it is showing the rank of that region, rank of profit along the region. When you mouse over, it is showing like what is the rank of that particular region that in the line graph.
Okay. Why did I compute
That means
the rank using the region? So before, when it was table across, right? Let me change it to table across. So now, could you able to read something with this chart?
yeah, it is showing like along table across. It is showing actually in the.
Yeah. So my scenario here is I just want to compare my region and my time period based on my sum of profit. So here already the graph shows how the profit has behaved over a period of months. Okay. Now I want to show also how it behaved with respect to region also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compute this rank only based on a region.
Okay.
Okay, so now it shows like a bump chart. So where we have a trend with up and down values, or somewhere we have a constant values also. This bump charts allow you to read this particular chart in a more clear way. So if we have that 4 regions, so if you see here, so for the month of January for Western region, so the sales was bit low. Again, it goes up by February. So for each region, I could read my sum of profit based on the time period. So here I am comparing the 2 dimensions across a measure.
Yeah, got it.
Next, so we are going to see about so we saw about combination charts, right?
Yeah.
So anyone can tell me what is combination chart? Hello? We saw something related to combination chart. What is that combination chart? Okay. So let's see some more okay, before that, okay, we saw, I will tell about box and whisker plots, then let's move for that combination chart. I just left box and whisker plots. So we have one more type of charts called box and whisker plots. So it's also a kind of a statistical graph which going to show you the distribution of values along your axis. So it is going to show show you like based on a kind of two quartiles. So it would be taking two quartiles, that is your upper quartile as well as your lower quartile. So let's create a box and whisker plot. So I've taken a segment and a measure, I mean a dimension and a measure. So it just create me the vertical bar chart. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one more dimension, that is my region, into the columns. So it created a nested vertical bar chart. I'm going to change this to box and whisker plots. Anyone know about the term box and whisker? So we have 4 regions here. So if you see here, I have placed my regions into the column section, but since I have changed to box and whisker plots, it's automatically put the regions to the Tableau, automatically reassigned it to your detail section, and it has taken the 4 regions as the individual plots over in your graph. So this is your lower quartile and this would be your lower whisker and your upper whisker. And we also have a median. So it shows how your region falls within the whiskers. So your regions are plots and it is showing you the range and how the plots have been between these kind of whiskers. So now let me put this region back to the column section. So now if you see here, I'm just getting only the single point over here, and it is just a single line over here, which doesn't mean this is not your box and whisker plots. Since I have placed 2 dimension over here, it could not put it in the form of box and whisker plots. So what I'm going to do is, let me go to analysis and remove this aggregated measures. So now if you see, for each discount range, it assigns the segment as well as your region. So it is just transforming your dimensions into range of values, and also it shows your distribution across the various discounts. So this also looks like your bullet graphs, right? So if I just swap this rows and columns, it also looks like the bullet graphs. So you can just have this as your target values, and but here we just have a single measure, but these are all the reference lines only. You see here. So in analytics section also you have same thing, your box plots and your whisker plots, where you would be defining the terms, how to define your whiskers. So based on that, your references have been created. So next, let me come back to that combination chart. So the combination chart. So I just going to create a type of combination chart, but I'm going to represent in the form of lollipops. Okay. So these are all like these 4. Apart from these 4 charts, we are going to see some more charts. They are all different ways to represent your data. instead of going for your normal basic visualizations, we are going to represent in various kind of visuals. So let me take this subcategory and some of. So this is your normal bar graph. Let me take this sum of sales again. So here I'm just going to show you how to make your lollipop representation of charts. If you have some data sets with some kind of a same related measures, if you could synchronize those axes or something, in that cases you can go for this type of representation. Here I don't have two measures. Or maybe let me try to take budget sales. Okay, and I'm going to make it as dual axis, and let me make this. So if you see here, let me try to synchronize this. It's not possible. Okay. So if I see here one line, I could, so both the values are almost matching. So this, if I want to make it as a lollipop representation, so this, if you have some types of measures, maybe in some kind of other data sets, where both your measures correlate at the same point, in that cases, instead of just representing as a bar and a line or something, where you're going for different form of representations, one thing as a circle and another one is a bar. So that's why I said, so I'm going to duplicate the same thing. Instead of budget of sales, let me take the sum of sales itself, and make it as dual axis. So this is a kind of lollipop representation. So the same combination chart, but I'm representing in the form of lollipops. A kind of a dual axis chart. So next, let me explain you about the funnel charts. So the shape of the chart is going to be like in the form of a funnel. So funnel charts are useful when you want to represent your data, maybe when you're like a kind of a stage wise, when you want to represent your data in the form of a stage wise, in that cases your funnel charts would be more useful. So let me take this state and sales. Jitters. Sales into the side. So why we call this as your funnel charts? Because the shape would look like a funnel. So, so here, now first I should show you the funnel chart. This is my traditional funnel chart. If the same sum of sales, or if I want to associate with kind of negative measures, so in that cases, if I want to go for the different representation, in that cases I can go for this traditional funnel chart. This is called as traditional funnel chart. I will show next, we will show about the funnel charts. So I'm just taking the same measure for the negative value. So this shows me the state with the negative sales as well as with the sum of sales. So I'm just instead of bar chart, same can be represented as a bars also, but instead of bar chart, I'm just representing as a area chart to make it as a funnel chart. So the shapes looks like a funnel, right? So I can remove these types of headers also. So the representation would be in the form of a funnel. So that's why I told you these charts we are discussing, it's mainly more of a representations, also a kind of a advanced charts. So when you are creating your dashboards, instead of going for your basic visualizations, when you represent these forms, that is your, so still each and every combination of your basic charts, or if you try to put try to associate different kind of values in your charts, you can also visualize your graph in your own way. So these are all the charts till now that has been in existence, but now if you visualize some more types of charts, that would also be a form of your advanced charts.
Kannan here actually, how to remember all this chat? Because while you're explaining in one chat, we're able to understand, but after that, not getting remember that.
Okay. I'm just telling you that so if your control charts, your bullet graphs, your bump charts, those charts, okay, you can remember when you want to compare it to measure. So you have your source. Mostly if you see bullet graphs and all would be used in most of your dashboards, because you would be having your sales and your revenue, or maybe you want to compare your any kind of data. If you want to go for a comparison between your measures and if you want to display in the graph, you can go for your bullet graphs. So control charts are also something similar only, when where you're going to define your thresholds and you're just doing some kind of analysis whether that falls within your threshold or it goes beyond the threshold. So when you want to compare two dimensions, you go for your bump charts.
Okay.
But these charts, right, your lollipop charts or the funnel charts, which I am showing now, these are all different forms of representation. The same chart, as I told you, I can represent in the bar chart, in the form of a bar chart also.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
can represent in the form of a bar chart also. But I just want to show, instead of just going by a basic visualizations, so when you show a different kind of representations, it finally attracts your customers, right? So if the
Okay.
same chart, if I'm showing with a bar and a line, that is a normal combination chart. But
Okay.
somebody sees this, so it is like a lollipop, right? We call it as
Yeah.
lollipop chart because it's a representation. So if I same chart, if I'm going to represent like this, it's a
Okay.
normal combination. Instead of a
Okay.
normal combination chart, I'm representing with a different form. So I'm calling it as
Okay.
a lollipop chart. That's why I said tomorrow you can also put your own creativity. You can create your chart and you can also assign.
Okay.
It's all the way how you are visualizing your graph.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So this is called as the normal funnel chart. So the shape looks like a funnel. Here also the shape looks like a funnel. So here also the shapes looks like a funnel. Here you can also assign different colors. So here one color, if you put both, if you could just create a calculated field, so you can just put some kind of a different color. These are all different forms of representing your visuals. So here I'm just comparing my sum of sales across each states. So the state which has the highest sales occupies the largest box, and the lowest sales occupies the smallest box. So we have something called word cloud. So your word cloud, something that has been visualized using the text values, just a text values. For example, let me put this state into the text, remove country, and I'm going to put my sales into the size and change it to text. So if you see here, this is just I've done just with the dimension value. So it can be used mainly if you want to create some kind of index charts or something like index page. We are creating multiple dashboards based on a country. If you have various countries or various departments, when you want to create some kind of drill down between your multiple dashboards, and let this be your first page or your index page. So if I want to see dashboards related to California, so I can just create some actions associated with it. So if I click on California, it should take me to that particular dashboards or the particular worksheets. So based upon you can also put your sales to the colors. So based upon the sum of sales, your text size and the color is being differed. So next let's see about the waterfall chart. So your waterfall charts, it is also a kind of representation. It is going to represent in the form how you have your waterfalls. Mostly these types of charts are useful when you want to compare your positive and negative values, or if you want to compare the running total of your measure against your dimensions, or if you are comparing your measures over a time period. For these types of instances, you can go for this waterfall charts. I'm just showing you the way how to create these types of charts. So why I thought today I will take this topics, because when you are working on the questions, right? So the question which I gave, you are going to create your data set. So instead of going for your normal basic visualizations, you can try to bring it up different types of visualization. So for example, I will tell you. So in that you have your education, and also you have your unemployment, and you have your malnutrition. So when you're comparing those types, right? So if you're showing something related to your education and unemployment, or something related how many males are educated, how many females are educated, I can just show that in a graph, maybe in a scatter plot or something. But in that cases, instead of representing, so if I'm creating my scatter plots, right? So here you have this different shapes. So same shapes. If I want to show, if I am showing for the male female ratio, instead of these shapes, I can go to my shape and choose the gender. So for females and for males. So let me choose, if I have two values. So this is a different forms of representation. Same I can represent with the star and a circle also. But since I'm taking the male female ratio in the same chart, I'm just going to different forms of shapes. It's all based on a representation. So it is easy for the end user to understand by seeing the graph itself. So something is being shown related to your male and female ratios. Okay, let's come back to the waterfall chart. So as I said, your waterfall charts are useful when you want to compare a measure across a time period, or when you want to compare a positive and your negative measure. So those cases, you can go for your waterfall charts. So mainly waterfall charts, we can also call it as the running total chart. So it mainly going to create your running total of your measure. So now I have taken subcategory sum of quantity. I have calculated my running total. I'm going to change this marks types as the Gantt bar. So now itself you can see, right, the representation is like a waterfall. So let me take some negative gradient to this. Let me create the negative value for quantity itself. So I've just taken the same quantity for the negative value. So I've just I put that into the size. So each bar, each of this Gantt bar shows me the size based on the negative order quantity, that is which we have created. So this looks like your waterfall. Here you're comparing your sum of your profits, that is your profit quantity, as well as with your negative quantity. The representations looks like your waterfall. So your Gantt charts, are mainly useful. It would be showing something related. So based on, it is also a kind of time series analysis. So mainly when we are preparing our project estimations and all, right? So we use one type of graphs in order to give the estimation. So those types of graphs, it's a kind of a Gantt charts only. So it is going to excuse me, show you some analysis mainly based on each and every time period. Maybe if I want to see the progress for every week or every month or based on every day, in that cases I can go for this Gantt charts. So all these charts, you should have at least one date field that has been mandatory. So let me take order date. So here I'm going to find the difference between my order date and my ship date. So I want to find how many days it took for a particular order to ship based on these ship modes. I'm going to create a calculated field. Going to find the day difference based on the day. So this, now it shows me for each week, it is just showing me a bar for both the subcategory and ship mode. So we have calculated the difference between the order date and the ship date. I'm going to put that particular calculated field into the size so that my size of the bar defines how much days it took to ship the products. If you see, some have taken a very long time in order to ship your products. Some have taken a very less time. So this is your Gantt chart. So it shows you the estimation, time estimation for each and for every aspect which you want to actually show your time estimation. So that's why I told you we mostly used for the project estimation. So every week how many progress has been done, or based. So before when we give the estimation, we give for each 5 stages, right? Development and testing. So we would be giving it, and if they want to give the progress of each and based on each and every week or based on each date, so we would be forming a type of a graph. Mainly Gantt bars would be useful when we have those types of scenarios. So now it may be like you may not be very clear like what type to use it for with but when at least you now know like you have these many different types you can create, or these many types of visualizations you can do. So when you get some kind of requirement, or when you want to create some kind of graphs for some scenarios, you may remember like instead of why I have to go for a basic bar chart or a basic pie chart. So instead of that, I can go for different representations. Okay, for pie charts also, if you don't want to go by a normal pie chart, if you want to go by a donut chart, so pie charts are already available. So in Tableau, you can directly create your pie charts. But if I want to create, instead of pie representation, if I want to go for the donut charts, in that cases, we are going to represent only the same information, but I feel instead of pie, I can go for my donut charts. So let me tell you how to create donut charts in Tableau. First, let's create a pie chart. So this is our normal pie chart. So it just shows me the sum of sales across this 4 region. I want to show the same information but in the form of a donut chart. So what I am going to do is, I will tell you the steps how to make a donut chart. Okay, but your scenario is same. What you are representing in your pie chart, you are going to represent in the form of a donut chart. So in order to make donut charts in Tableau, I just need some kind of dummy records here. So for that, I'm going to take this number of records. So your number of records would be always present in your measure section, which would show you number of records, that is number of rows in each and every dimensions and your measures. So since I have taken region, we have 4 values, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it shows me the sum of sales for each of these region. What I'm going, so in order to make a pie chart, I have taken these two as a dummy value. It is not merely associated with my requirement. I've just taken these two in order to make it as a donut chart. So I've taken these two number of records. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it as minimum. The aggregate is minimum, so I just get a single bar chart, pie chart. So now I have these two pie charts. I'm going to make it dual axis. So when I made it as dual axis, as I said in marks card, I forgot to say that, so that's fine. So when I made it as dual axis, when in the marks card, I would be getting three marks card, that is one for all, and one for my first measure and one for my second measure. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust this color and the size in order to make it as a donut chart. So let me go for the second minimum numbers and remove region from the color. And adjust the size, make it as instruct. So now if you see the same chart, I represented as a donut chart. So I made it as a dual axis. So in the second, I removed the regions from the color, and also I removed the sum of sales from the size, and I made the color to be transparent. And then I adjusted the size so that my inner circle is so inner circle is also there, that is my inner pie chart, but with a transparent color, and I have adjusted the size of both of the pie so that it looks like your donut charts. Now I can remove this show headers and put my sales value to the label section. Reach. So this is your donut charts. So instead of pie chart, you can make it as donut chart.
Anybody has any questions so far? Okay. If anybody doesn't have any question, shall we wind up now or we'll continue tomorrow?
So these are all the advanced chart types. So I have almost completed.
Okay. So
So you
everyone
can
clear, right?
use these types of chart
Clear,
dashboards.
right? Gopi, Kannan?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
Mani. Clear, we are
Somebody
clear.
quickly, can somebody quickly summarize that what are the charts are available? What are the advanced charts are available?
Yeah. There's a bullet graphs, waterfall, and bubble chart, and then donut charts.
Okay. So here bullet graph, control chart, bump chart, box and whiskey plot, and then lollipop chart, funnel chart,
Funnel chart and
waterfall,
waterfall.
donut chart.
Yeah.
Can somebody tell me what is the bump chart? What is the bump chart? Can you go to the bump chart?
Bump charts is used to compare two dimensions across a measure.
Just go to each graph once again. Just click it. Okay. Just make sure that you are aware of all the charts, and these are the advanced charts. So bullet charts is just representing the bullet way, right? So each and everything will be representing the bullet form.
It is used to compare your source and your target measure.
Okay.
Bullet graphs, you are comparing two measures across a dimension. Your bump charts, you are comparing two dimensions across a measure.
Click the control chart. For 10 seconds.
Control chart is used to find whether your that is your line graph that stays within when you're analyzing something over a time period, and you also have your upper and lower control limits. So I'm just seeing whether my analysis stays within the limit or it is exceeding my limit.
Okay. Box and whisker.
Box and whisker plots is used to analyze your dimensions and your measures in the form of a plots, which also compares with your lower whiskers and your upper whiskers, the hinge.
Lollipop.
Lollipop is a different form of representation of your combination charts. Your funnel charts and traditional funnel charts, it's also a different form of representation, mainly when you want to represent a kind of a stage-wise data. Word cloud is mainly useful when you want to display something in the form of a text. I'm also associating a text with a measure. So this can be used mostly when you want to associate something as an index, like index page or something, from where you can do kind of action filters which takes you to different form of dashboards, or also like you can associate one in the form of a word cloud and one in the form of a table, and you can associate both the things. So someone clicks on the particular country or a particular department, they get the details in the next graph.
Waterfall.
Waterfall charts are mainly, it's a representation, it's a kind of a waterfall, mainly that is used to compare uh, uh, the positive and negative measures. We also call it as a running total charts. So you're going to calculate your running total and you're going to represent in the form of your waterfalls. Your Gantt charts are mainly used to analysis over a time period that is concentrates on each and every each and every time, that is how much time it really takes to complete each work. So it represents the time of each and every value in your dimensions or measures. The donut chart is a different way of representation of your pie charts.
Okay, that's good. So everyone clear, right? All the advanced charts. So with that note, we'll wind up for today and we'll meet up on the next session.
Yeah.
Thank you all for
Yes, ma'am. Just just hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. Apart from this, is there any other chart, ma'am? So advanced chart, or by our creativity we can create a number of advanced charts?
Yes.
Or
that's what
okay.
I told you. You can.
Okay.
This most of the charts are a combination of your basic charts.
Okay,
So,
but the specific names are there, no, ma'am? So this is the advanced chart, correct, or some other?
graphs, control charts, bump charts, box and whisker plots, and your waterfall, Gantt charts. So these are all already specific names. Lollipop charts and all. Someone like you or me have found it.
Okay, 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 okay. So by seeing this, actually, I thought come out of development and do this, because here, whatever we are doing, immediately we are getting the result.
Exactly.
Develop.
It will take 1 day of time to writing a report, a graph.
Yes.
Come within a second.
Yeah. It's very interesting, but actually we need to put more work hard and
yeah, gradually.
Thanks.
That one.
Yeah. There's one more thing actually. Yeah. So whether this and all you got through experience or by reading some books?
I have been working into the reporting field for past 9 years.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So Sandana Krishnan, you start with 2017. By 2025, you'll be an expert.
Actually, when I started my career, I started as a .NET developer, but in 1 year itself, I moved on to this field because so when I was working as a .NET developer, my next team, they was creating reports using Cognos. I felt more interest in Cognos. I myself learned Cognos and I easily switched to Cognos. So then I was working completely with Cognos, Tableau, most kind of reporting tools.
Nice. Nice. But actually, we as a Java developer facing a lot of problem, because we need to learn UI part, backend, middleware, now big data, and as well as they're asking us to learn machine learning. Else they will fire from off in the companies. Better come like Tableau.
I have created a former WhatsApp group, right? But actually, I did not DevOps as well as Agile right now. I'm about to share that also. So there are upcoming trainings are there. Yeah, everyone should need to be there on that whatever the group I'm sharing, right? Those are the those are the groups fields are going to be there for next 10 years. Okay, Java.NET people migrating to now for data science field, big data, Hadoop. No other choice. We are done. Okay.
Yes.
So we have a Kafka, Advanced Spark is coming. So many other things are coming, right?
Yes, man.
Then you'll do the MongoDB, Crescenta, DevOps, Agile.
Yeah. More other, yes, fine.
Yeah.
Else, we need
right
to learn
now,
more.
concentrate on the visualization as Hadoop development.
Sure.
That is the right path.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, fine. Thanks. Thanks, Mani. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks for training. It's very good today.
Okay, Gopi, you have any other questions?
No, Mani. Actually, I got clear actually. So I will practice those things and then I'll get back with any queries.
Sure. Vignesh, do you have any questions? I'll share the video, okay? Okay, no doubt. Faisal, no doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks
Yeah.
all.
Yes,
Thanks
Mani.
for joining. We'll meet up on the next session. Thank you all.
Yeah. Thanks for the session. Yeah. Thank you.